important concepts that we have to cover about timers. In fact, I have about 8 bullet points I've got to cover Thursday.
All the instructions that we went over last week.
Let me think. Last time, and I was really hoping, it looks like the way these things are coming out with the other classes, I hope you guys impress me today, is these other classes, do you think, they didn't take that stuff home with them, and they were completely lost doing this simple little 4-step program. So, remember last time we did a cylinder, we did an extend retract?
Yeah.
We designed the GRAFCET for it, and then we wrote the program for it, all the step logic. We're going to do the same thing today, except I already have the GRAFCET for you. And this GRAFCET is for those conveyors back there. So I think what we should probably do is watch those run so that you know how they run. So if everybody would, if everybody could. Take the rest of There's not a lot to them, but it gets you started and going in the right direction. So there's 2 different parts for these. It's just a conveyor, 2 different parts, one's plastic and one is metal. There is start-stop, regular start-stop, and I'll get you the inputs and outputs for that stuff. There's a photo eye here, part present. Hopefully it'll time out. Okay, it works. Part present photo eye, and then a proc switch. Is it inductive?
Capacitor.
No, if that's plastic, it wouldn't be.
No, no.
Is it inductive?
Yeah.
What is it, guys?
It's an inductive.
Yeah, it's inductive. Yep, it's an inductive proc switch. So what it does is it passes all the metal parts down the conveyor, and then it rejects all the plastic parts. There is an OR statement in the GRAFCET, but you can basically ignore this side of it because that's for the plastic parts, step 4. So just ignore that. Just go straight down this direction, because by default, it's gonna already just reject all the plastic parts anyway. And then as a future lab, what we're gonna do is use the same thing, but we're gonna accept all the plastic parts and send them down the conveyor. Good? Not much to it, and I'll get you all the I/O. There's a DC motor back here and then DC solenoid. And that's the only 2 outputs.
Close up.
Cool.
Break the camera.
That's so
But if you need to go back and run them, go ahead, just so you know.
All right. All right.
Let's look at step 0, the initial state. No problem there. The first transition is MCR on. So what you'll do is just that start-stop button back there. You'll use that. And the stop button, let me tell you what that is. The stop button is I8, input 8. So write that on there. Start, or the stop, I8. The start is I9. Says MCR on, machine start, and part present at photo I. That photo I input is I0.
Whoa, Keith. Wait, did you say stop is I9?
Stop is I-8. Yeah. Stop is
I-0.
photo I. Yep, photo I. Yep. Photo I is I-0. And then action 1, it says conveyor start. So at that point, we're gonna run the conveyor. And we gotta start this timer that's set up for 7 seconds. What the timer does, it runs the conveyor for 7 seconds and then shuts off the conveyor. And then going down the left-hand side, part accept. That's the proc switch. That is input 1. And then action 2, retract part solenoid. That is output 1. Motor's output 0, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you that. Retract part solenoid and retract timer, so you have to set up another timer, 2 seconds. In other words, what's going to happen is it's going to retract that cylinder up for 2 seconds and then drop back down. Just enough time to let that part get by without running into it or without. And then we get the retract timer done bit in transition 3. That's the input we're using for transition 3. And in action 3, we have to de-energize the accept solenoid. So that's when you unlatch step 2. Yep, you know that. And we've got to, here's the thing, here's one of the changes. We're going to have to set up another timer in the extend. So when it drops down, we start timing. We only time for 1 second. So there's going to be 3 timers to this thing. So write that one in there. Extend timer in action 3. And then transition, the last transition
That's 1
there.
second on that timer?
Yeah, 1 second.
And it's action 3, right?
Yeah. Last transition. Except solenoid is de-energized and the extend timer is done. So we have to check and see.
So retract?
Yeah, scratch out, retract, and
Oh.
extend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mark through retract, make that extend. So that logic, it says accept solenoid de-energized. How are you gonna know if it's de-energized? Your logic. How's the program gonna know if it's de-energized?
Examine if it's open.
Yes, that's right. So you want to examine it open to know it's de-energized. And the timer is done. And then at that point, you'll unlatch step 3 and then latch back step 0, just like we were doing.
From the third transition?
Yeah. Unlatch step 3 and latch step 0. That way we'll start over for you. Good? Any questions? If you need to, go back and run them. If you need to watch them run, see how they run. Pair up, whatever works best for you.
Oh, it's, when we do the, so first we want to do the PSC steps, so that you can understand it better. And that would be the online. So to get, sorry, my brain's still on. But if you want to do the step one, you would have to unlatch step zero. So from step zero, you can do step one. So the first step would be after completing step zero, you go to the second row at step one, unlatch step zero option. And you're still on step one. So at step one, you do step one,
It's all gonna be word there, so it doesn't fit.
We'll still have a zero, then
So when you go to the second row, step two, unlatch step one. Exactly, yeah. So that's the only way the first time I'll write down the language and then I'll write the program. This is too much.
Did you say the,
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, I missed this.
Histories, I feel like they're too What do you mean?
I'm bumping into you, I'm the one person. I did not say it was on purpose.
Listen, Mark, exactly, stop it. He turned it half of
Program is unmatched.
You do step zero, start button, because we did good, step zero, then you do press, hard press and edit. And everybody initialize, see like this.
They're all binary bits?
What?
They're all binary bits, not like.
Mr. Head, honey, take your hand. Okay, so try to do one up first. So all we're gonna do step zero, start button, or is it? I don't know if it's this. Right, and then like for the inputs, that's what I have to change right there.
Yeah.
So when I do this, I would have to do the initial start with zero, the start button, or is it the master one that goes through?
I think it has that.
Yeah, and the GMCR, so they matter which one goes first? No. And how do I address this? I didn't know if it was that one. So it would be I, zero?
Yeah, it doesn't fix PLC.
Okay. Wait, but this is
What
a
are you
truck
reading?
software.
I'll show you later too.
Okay, so it's full.
Yeah.
Oh, it says here.
I didn't change it.
It's a
The receiver, the Ruby and
Still the same.
the receiver and the transmitter relay. There's no reflector there. The receiver's on one side and the transmitter's on one side.
I'm so sorry, I know. No one ever said I was that observant.
Yeah, just maybe.
So for the NCR, it doesn't matter what V3 we use, we can just leave it as the address that we already have. Oh. I don't know what they are. Thank you. Thank you. So that
Very short.
Come on, Marcus. I think you missed it. If you would have been here last time, you wouldn't have been.
That it, right?
Marcus. Yes, slacker. Slacker. Just kidding. Feeling cry, Marcus. Make sure you swear. You just cry and make sure it's wet. It's worth my while. I'm trying to make sure it's actually dry. I'm waiting on Marcus.
We just need to call
I don't know what the problem is. Marcus, do you have something?
I don't think I do.
And this.
Cold at work. We'll figure it out.
What do I need?
At some point. That is going to be this
There's only one photo. And then we got to sell it.
This right here.
There's 3 gas on the way. Gas on it. Comes up.
Yeah. Getting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're gonna do this, the next time.
But now we're all supposed to.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I keep it running.
Stupid conveyor run. I'm just kind of, I was improvising.
Do you wanna walk through this thing?
Yeah. I'm stuck.
Okay,
I'm keeping it.
we can walk through it. Scott's good?
Just kidding.
Particularly. Jared.
What happened?
What?
Let's see, does everybody have their initialized routine?
No, not.
Everybody good there?
However, just, Cuddle Able. Machine steps, is that
Machine
bit
steps.
3, that's just bit 30?
Yeah, so that move instruction, it's moving a value of 1 into B3 word 0. If I go over here to B3, let me zoom in here. You see word 0 in B3?
Yeah.
Which one is word 0?
Machine step.
It's this whole 16 bits, isn't it?
Yeah.
B3 word 0. And what that move is moving a value of 1 in the word 0. So it's going to set bit 0 to a value of 1, right, when it does that? What if we move a value of 2 in the B3 word 0? Which bit is going to be set? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, so on.
2, the 1.
So if we move a value of 2, yeah, bit 1's going to get set, right? And if we move a value of 3,
1 and 2?
It would be.
yeah,
2.
0, 0 and 1, right? 1 plus 2, and so on. Or if we move a value of 4 in the word 0.
What about?
2?
Yeah, bit 2, that's right, that's right. So what we're doing, we're moving a value of 1 in the word 0, and it's setting bit 0 to 1, right? What it's doing to all the rest of the bits is it's zeroing them out. So it's initializing all of our steps. It's just setting all the other steps to a value of 0. That's the whole idea. Everybody good with that?
Mine won't change the source or destination of
It will, here in a little bit, once you accept the project and verify it.
Okay.
Now, this is B300, and that's where, this is where it's being used, over the inputs, B300. Everybody see that? That's how we get that first initial step, that initial step. Everybody's good with the initialized stuff? Okay. Everybody's done with it?
What was it, what is that one? Is that initialized or is that on input?
This one's on inputs, yeah.
How do I edit the word level? It's saying must be specified the word level.
So the word level is B3:0. So we start out in step 0, that's the one we just initialized. And go through your GRAFCET. MCR on, I'd put start relay. See the first transition? Transition 1. So here's our transition logic. Start push button. And with the transition, what else do we need? Yeah, part present photo line. There's our first transition, right? We did our transition logic, and now to get to step 1, now we're in step 1. While we're in step 1, we have to unlatch that previous step, step 0. We're still in step 1, and this is where you want to put your conveyor run timer, as long as you're in step 1. It can go anywhere, but this just keeps it kind of organized where you have it. So we're in step 1. Here's step 1 here. Once the timer's done, we unlatch step 1.
Can you go back up for a minute?
Everybody good with that?
I feel like
Not really?
We went over so much, so
Yeah, we did.
the whys, like, I'm stuck in memorizing right now, I'm trying to get perception. What's going on in perception?
Yeah, that's the way to do it, kind of figure things out as you go.
That's what I was talking
Gotcha. Do you need the subroutine initialization? Everybody good with it?
No. With the push button there, wouldn't you have to hold down the push button in order for it to run?
No, because we have that latch, that B301, it's a latch, so as soon as you, all you have to do is touch it. Because the latch is
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're latching up step one. We unlatch step 0, but this one's a little bit unique because step 1, it's running the conveyor, right? We don't want to immediately unlatch it once we get into step 2. That's why we have to unlatch it with this timer. We're in step 1 when we start running the timer. Step 1, we get the timer done bed, and then we unlatch step 1. Everybody good with that? You see what we're doing? All we're doing is we're setting up a 7-second timer for that conveyor to run, and once it times out, we unlatch it so it's not running.
Yeah.
And while we're still in step 1, if the proc switch is made, then we set up step 2. So let's look at your GRAFCET. Take a look at your GRAFCET. We got the part. We're at step 1, and over to the left we get the part accept, and we're setting up that transition logic for transition 2 to get into step 2. Once we're into step 2, it says retract the part solenoid, so that's what that's going to do over our output logic. And we need to set up a timer. We need to run a timer to retract this thing.
Tim, is there a way we can name the individual ladders? That would help all of this if we could just name, I mean, I'll get that.
Ladder 3.
Yeah, sorry, not ladders, rungs, like,
Yeah.
see what the numbers are? Is there a way we can go in, instead of it being, say, 006, is there a way we can edit it so that we can keep track of the flow on the transitions and steps?
Yeah, let's do that. So let's do, okay, this
Because I'm at the
is,
beginning here, I'm trying to,
yeah, we can do edit comment, no comment. Let's say this is the logic for step 2.
I'll throw in something.
Something like that, yeah. Problem is, you see how it puts it to the address though?
yeah.
Let me see if we can change the output, that's the file run. This is the start, the run for step 2, this is the run for step 2.
Mr. Ham,
Uh-huh.
I'm having an issue with adding the timers as,
Add a timer?
oh, never mind. Oh,
Good? Logic for step 2. I'm gonna keep going through this unless you guys are good. I mean,
Can you go,
I'm just.
well, let's start over and everybody focus your attention to the front. How about that? I don't want anybody to just fumble around with this thing and be left in the dark.
can you go up just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way to the top of this thing. So ladder 3 is setting up all of our transition logic, right? We're in step 0, and this is all of our logic for transition 1. Look at your graph set. Transition 1 says MCR on. I'm using this master start relay thing. Machine start, the start push button, and the part present going away. And now we get into step 1. We're in step 1, and we unlatch step 0, because you don't want to leave that step active. But, and here's the unique thing about this one, we're still in step 1, we have to get set up this timer, right, for the conveyor to run. Because if we unlatch it with step 2, it's just going to turn off immediately as soon as we get into step 2. Does that make sense? That's why we're not unlatching it with step 2. We're unlatching it with a timer. We're in step 1. We get the timer done bit. Is that on here? Somewhere. Take it out.
No, not maybe to you.
Can you add that on?
Can you go to,
I'll print this out for you if you want, and you can make copies of it. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your graph set and take a copy of the program and really go through it line by line.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that would,
Okay.
that would be good.
Let me print one copy out, and then you guys can make copies of it. Instead of me copying thousands of pages of stuff, they're gonna say something. So, you know what I'm saying? So let me do this. I'll print out a copy. I need you guys to go through this thing line by line.
Is there any way you can face that in Blackboard? Paste it, post it in Blackboard?
Yeah, well, let me do that. Yeah, I'll print out a copy and then scan it into my email, and then I'll post it on the Blackboard in PDF. That's even better. Yeah. That's even better. That's a great idea. I wish I could, maybe I could print this thing in PDF.
Likewise. I wasn't either. I wasn't either. I felt today. It's the first day of class. Yeah, I got that.
That's all the water, that's all.
I also was looking at, so
It's a big day, but.
I did. We literally were talking about GRAFCET. And I'm like, this is easy. I know this. I studied this.
Yeah, good turn.
And then, bam, every night.
The rollers.
Oh, yeah.
It's going over
There was nothing there for him. It just comes in. I watched him like crying. What's wrong? There's nothing over here for him to go I was sitting here talking to him, I was like, just hang on, buddy, we're almost done.
I don't want to be on this moving thing anymore.
I was so sad, oh my god.
So is the lizard committing suicide or is the person trying to fire murderer?
Oh, I couldn't complain.
Kill the lizard. Murder of the most brutal cowards.
May I have the shoes?
Okay, it's on. It's only on the plastic.
It's on that default.
Yeah, it's, let me drag it out, I think it's in the bottom of this thing. Yep, course content and course documentation.
Oh no.
And this, you had,
God. Think it worked. What?
I see stuff here that I don't think.
That one was fun.
That one should be.